Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to see me as a guest on Nadiya Shah's amazing YouTube channel. I am NATALIE LEVIN, and I am honored to be a guest for Nadiya Shah to tell you about the full moon in Taurus that is happening on November 8th, 2022. It's happening at 6:03 a.m. on the eastern coast of the United States. So if you're watching this in other countries or in other parts of the United States, I invite you to look and see what time the full moon is happening for you. It is a very exciting, not only is it a full moon in Taurus, but it's also a full moon eclipse, and it's ending this incredible eclipse portal that we are in and have been in, and we'll still be feeling the echoes of it for a few weeks. Some people say you feel it all the way up to like 6 months in advance and 6 months after. So I wonder what it's going to feel like for you. I'll be curious to know what it feels like to be in your skin around this full moon eclipse. And I'd love to invite you to keep in mind that everything I say about the astrology is my seeing it through the veil of my experience in this lifetime. So if it doesn't match for you, I invite you to take what you like and leave the rest. It's really okay if it doesn't resonate with you. You can take whatever resounds and then allow everything else to fall away. It's quite an impactful full moon that is happening. When I look at the chart for November 8th at 6:03 a.m., some things that I notice that are standing out to me are the fact that the full moon, in addition to being an eclipse, which when we take into account that if I were living like thousands and thousands of years ago in some sort of like a caveman society, and the moon suddenly disappeared, or it looked really strange, I would probably have thought the gods were mad at me. I probably would have made offerings, said prayers. It definitely would have felt like a really strange time. And nature, when it's a solar eclipse, and when this used to happen long ago, imagine you're like going about your day and you don't know the planetary rhythms necessarily, and then suddenly the sun goes dark and let's say it's high noon, and then suddenly the crickets start chirping and the birds start singing their evening song, and that happens for 2 minutes and everything gets dark, and then the sun comes back out and the nighttime songs and animal activities end. It can feel very disconcerting, and as if I wouldn't be surprised if you have been feeling for this past, we have had an eclipse on October 25th. That was in Scorpio at 2 degrees of Scorpio, and we are now, this full moon eclipse is happening, the second of the 2 eclipse cycle. So I wouldn't be surprised if you've been feeling like time is not linear during this eclipse portal, and if you've been feeling like I don't know what day it is, and if you've been showing up somewhat to appointments and like on some sort of schedule during this time, you get all the trophies and all the medals for doing so. Amazing work. Because it's really disconcerting. Our natural rhythms are discombobulated around eclipse season. And then we have the full moon happening with Uranus, which is the planet of explosions, shocks, surprises, earthquakes, and awakenings, is conjunct the full moon on November 8th. So, oh my gosh, I'm imagining that my invitation to you is to remember that you might have some sort of incredible revelation or awakening or some sort of wild shock or surprise that affects you emotionally on this full moon. It could be, oh, I'm walking along and I buy a lottery ticket. This is a trite example. And I suddenly discover, oh my gosh, all the numbers on my ticket match the numbers that they pulled. And I mean, I'm being a little bit stereotypical because the full moon is in Taurus and Taurus is related to money. So maybe I'm like, oh my gosh, I won $1 million. Maybe let's go like $300 million. And that would be an immediate change of my emotional world. It can also be when there's some sort of a Uranus conjunct the moon eclipse, full moon situation, and it's opposing the sun, and the sun conjunct Mercury conjunct Venus, all in Scorpio. It also could be a portal for things to slip away, for things to leave. If I happen to know someone who is maybe teetering on the edge of, am I going to stay in my body? Am I going to leave? Like someone who's been ill for a long time. This would be a portal when the spirit might decide to leave his or her or their body. I also would invite you to, if subject matter emerges for you that is from the deepest, darkest caverns of your psyche, when I'm seeing all this Scorpio energy, Venus and the sun and Mercury conjunct, it's possible that I am suddenly able to see, oh my goodness, look at that. Look how that really difficult time in my childhood, let's say there was some sort of physical abuse in my childhood, I might have an aha moment with this kind of a full moon and full moon eclipse that allows me to see like this, like a lightning bolt of, oh, now I understand why I'm attracted to these kinds of people who are easy to anger, people who push me away with their big feelings, because that's reminding me of the way I was treated as a child. It can be that kind of subject matter that bubbles up at this time with this eclipse as well, and this full moon. When and if this happens for you, I invite you to be gentle with your heart, be tender with yourself. I'm finding more and more that there's this invitation to calmly abide with whatever is arising. The astrology has been so outrageously intense and wild. I mean, I'm just going to talk about like the past month. Really, it's like, okay, a portal just opened in my room to another dimension. That would not surprise me with this astrology that we've been in. So I wonder if some sort of a portal to your own psyche, which is the Greek word for soul, opens up for you during this full moon. The invitation could be, I'm going to breathe. I might seek out some support. I mean, I am personally someone who has benefited from therapy, from recovery groups for addiction, from couples therapy, group therapy. So I have a lot of support, and I wonder what it might look like for you to have support. Maybe it's that you simply are reaching out to the Nadiya Shah YouTube channel to see like what is being said about this full moon, because it feels really big to me. We also have, for this full moon, the energy of Saturn making the top of a T-square to a lot of the planets involved. So it might feel like, oh my gosh, I have to have this explosion. I have to make this change. I feel so deeply about it. And it also could be around how I'm feeling in relationship with Venus involved, like my relationship to a romantic partner, to a job. How do I feel a sense of worth with Venus and Scorpio? Do I feel like my deepest parts of myself, the self that I do not actually usually share with anyone? Do I feel like I'm able to show that and reveal that in the relationship, let's say in my romantic relationship? And if I'm not able to, what would it look like for me to invite in some sort of a conversation with another person about, like, I really want to tell you what it feels like to be in my skin. Would you be open to listening? And that allows the person to also be able to say, no, I don't really want to hear that right now, so that you get this invitation, because we have Mercury involved as well. Mercury wants to communicate right now about the parts of yourself with this eclipse energy. I'm turning the lights off and I turn them back on. I want to tell you what it's like to be in my skin, what it's like to have experienced what I've experienced in this lifetime. And I invite you to choose the person with whom you share. Choose that person. It's not just anyone gets the honor of hearing what it's like to be in your skin. This is, Venus is involved. She wants to feel valued. She wants to feel like she is worthy and that you are worthy of being in the presence of her. Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and love. So when I share the deepest parts of myself, I make sure it's someone that I trust and that I really believe has my best interests at heart. That would be something I would invite you to think about during this full moon energy. I'm going to pause it for 1 second. Oh, hold on. Another interesting aspect about this full moon is the fact that Mars is now retrograde. Mars in Gemini, where Mars is spending a hearty 8 months, is retrograde. And he is he's in a square right now with Neptune. So I'm thinking like, okay, I might be trying to figure this out with my brain and feel like, oh, I know I can cerebrally figure all these feelings out. I can figure it out and make sure I know what's going on. And yet Neptune is inviting fog and confusion into my thought process. And it also might be an invitation for me to, wow, I can't figure it out. I don't know quite how this is all going to work out. And Neptune and Jupiter are conjunct. They're together in the same sign of Pisces, which is also, I mean, I'm a Pisces, so this is exciting to me that Jupiter's back in Pisces for a little while. And while we have Jupiter in Pisces, where he is landing from October 28th to December 20th. Oh, so it's a very short time that he's back in Pisces. The invitation is, oh my goodness, can I connect even more with more ebullience, with more sense of beneficence? Is that a word? Beneficence, I made up a word. With my angels and guides and spirit and all of the things that are beyond the veil that when I'm in my 3D world of like living on planet Earth, maybe I don't necessarily see them all the time. I really feel like they're more accessible, especially on this full moon. Like the veil is, there's barely any veil. So the invitation is, oh, wow, I've forgotten to check in with my team of angels and guides, goddesses, gods, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, whoever it is that you feel supports you. It could be your cat, it could be a tree, it could be like, sometimes for me it's Ben and Jerry. I mean, you know, that's not my highest form of my vibrational support, and that's why I'm practicing honesty here. So what is it like? Can I sit down and every day, at least once a day, say, I give thanks that I am divinely led and divinely protected? Can it be something like that, an affirmation during this full moon eclipse when the veil is so very thin? Saturn is going to be creating some sort of containment, attention in the conversation in this full moon. So it's going to be like, I want to explode, I want to change, I want to create a new structure and system, and I don't know what that looks like. How do I do that? How do I do these Saturnian things with Saturn in Aquarius? It's like my brain wants to figure it out. But Scorpio is these deep, deep, deep feelings that have with, again, Venus, the sun, and Mercury in Scorpio. I simply might not be able to even use words. Again, with this fog around Mars and Gemini, there's fog. My words might not be the sufficient vehicle to express what it's like to be in my skin and in my body with this full moon conjunct Uranus, conjunct the North Node, which is, so this is really quite affecting all of us, our entire species. So the invitation is, okay, maybe I simply have to drop down into my body. Taurus. Can I drop into my body what does my left pinky toe feel right now? What is it like to the space between my upper and lower jaw? Is there any space there, or is it totally clenched? Maybe that's how I'm going to be describing what it's like to be in my skin. And from there, when I get some information, I can then take Saturn in Aquarius, which is like, Saturn in Aquarius, I'm really smart. I want to use my intellect. I want to be clear and make like lawyerly decisions about how to proceed. But first I have to get the information from my body, Taurus, and my inner world, Scorpio. All through all of this, we have the incredible, plotting, ponderous Pluto. Oh my gosh, I made a poem. The plotting, ponderous Pluto is traipsing along one step at a time, direct now. And we are being invited as, again, what is it like to, okay, he's moving for Pluto relatively quickly, and the next, like by spring, he will have touched into the 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it can feel like there's some sort of a specter of the god of the underworld flavoring everything right now. And as I've heard Rick LEVIN, another astrologer that I know is friends with Nadiya Shah, I've heard him say it's in the darkness that the magic happens. So I really believe there is this incredible, the chrysalis that we have all been in with Pluto retrograde for like 5 million months. When I'm this caterpillar on a branch, and I'm eating this leaf and it's so delicious. Oh my God, I love this leaf. It's so good. And then this string starts to come out of my tushy. And I'm like, what's that? What's that? And the string starts to come and envelop me. And I'm like, this is strange. And then suddenly I'm encased in darkness and I disintegrate and dissolve and I turn to goo inside the chrysalis. There's no sign of me. There's no sign of the caterpillar. And then I start to reconstitute, and the only thing that allows this to happen is time and patience. And now we collectively are reconstituting and about to prepare to, like, the butterfly starts to break through the chrysalis. And you can't rush it, because if you cut the chrysalis open, the butterfly will die. You cannot rush the butterfly out of the chrysalis. You can't be like, hey, I'm going to help you. Come on. No. It's real, this calm abiding of, like, it's really like the Big Lebowski, like, abide. I'm just going to abide here and allow this butterfly of my being to emerge. I don't know what colors my wings will have. I don't know where I will be flying. I simply have to be an energetic container for my own self. And therefore, I will be able to be an energetic container for others when I first am able to do that for myself. I wonder how what I'm saying lands with you, if this feels resonant. I'll be curious to hear or read what you write in the comments. I'll be very curious. This full moon is, you'll probably feel it most impacting you or your friends and family. For those of you who have placements in, so if you don't know what that means, when I say placements, it means any planets when you were born. If the planets were in fixed signs are Taurus and Scorpio and Leo and Aquarius. And around the degrees of, let's say, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, you know, the orbs, people use different orbs, but I'm going to say that if your placements are anywhere in there, you will probably feel this more intensely than those who don't have planets in fixed signs around those degrees. I also I want to talk about where this full moon will be landing in your chart for each sign, and just talk about how that might, what themes you might be working with for this full moon. So for my beautiful, precious Aries sun and Aries rising friend, first of all, thank you so much for choosing to incarnate. I love Aries energy. Without you, nothing gets done. So thank you. If you are an Aries, this full moon is, and conjunct Uranus is happening in your second house. So you might notice themes around, what do I feel about finances, and or like, what is my, where I'm living, my actual physical house? What does this feel like to me? Do I want to make changes? Am I having some sort of an exciting shift or change around the way finances are flowing to me, to and through me? Do I want to be the change that makes that happen? Do I feel like I'm getting paid my worth with this, with Venus in opposition? Am I like just not even, is my worth not even coming into the equation when I'm getting paid, or even not getting paid, but let's say for example, I'm a mostly stay-at-home parent, and does it feel like I'm getting appreciation? Sometimes it has to be, I give my own self a medal. I give my own self a trophy for the fact that I am an amazing mama. Like, it can look like that. So it could be, I'm an Aries and I give myself a medal and a trophy for keeping my house beautiful. I'm going to have, maybe there's this idea that I want to do some, like, I see my house differently and I want to change the color or really make it different. Like, I'm going to paint my walls rainbow. That could be Uranus. It could be like, I'm going to just totally change it up and give a complete lightning bolt to my living situation and see how that feels. So I wonder how that lands for you, my Aries friends. And if you are a Taurus, sun or rising, hello, beautiful Tauruses. I love being around you so much because you're such a steady energy, and I don't have a lot of that in my chart. So what I would like to say to you is, if this full moon conjunct Uranus is landing in your first house. So it's like, at my very root of my isness, I like to picture it, I hope that this is okay to say on here, as like my perineum, like seriously, the very root of my torso is going to, it's almost like it's going to be getting an electrical impulse, or someone's, I don't know, you can interpret that how you like. That might feel nice, it might not. Wow, oh my gosh, it's like someone's waking me up. Have I been asleep? I'm a Taurus. Here's me as a Taurus having this full moon. What, oh my gosh, or it could look like something like I'm walking down the street and, you know, I had for example, there's housing in New York City that is reduced fee housing for artists. And I'm walking along and I get a phone call, the apartment that's like $500 a month, which is cheap, opened up, and my name came up, and at my root, there's a complete change. Like, I'm going to jump into a new way of living. I will have a new neighborhood. It's all this stuff that is about me feeling safe and secure as a Taurus. Like, oh, I'm going to have a new roof over my head. That's a change. Maybe I'll be able to afford more food because my rent is cheaper. That's another change. And maybe I'll sleep more deeply because I'll feel comfortable in my new home in which I'm surrounded by artists, and I'm an artist, Taurus, ruled by Venus. So I wonder what it feels like to hear me say that. That's a pretty powerful place to have the full moon, Taurus friends. So I'm really excited for you to see what more is revealed. My Gemini friends, let's see, let me pause this for a second. Beautiful Gemini friends, you will have this full moon conjunct Uranus in your 12th house. How exciting. So for me, when this happens, the first thing that comes up for me around 12th house is, oh my gosh, I get so excited because I feel like, oh, this person's going to get some sort of a spiritual jolt, a spiritual awakening. My Gemini friends who have been working with the energy of Mars moving through their sun sign and rising sign. Oh my goodness, like that's a lot of energy that you've been working with, and I cheer you on. It's a lot. It's been, I imagine it might have been difficult to when and if you get irritated and uncomfortable with other people, to choose kind words, to choose to not cut people down with your words. And I feel like you're getting this amazing support by the multiverses with this full moon in Taurus, because you're going to have the planet of awakening, the planet of surprise and change. This would be a time, in my opinion, when you would suddenly hear the voice of great Aunt Bernice saying, oh, I'm here, I'm with you, you've been doing great. You're doing great. I'm here. When you feel angry, just reach out to me in spirit world, and I will be there to support you. Don't you worry. And you might, Geminis, feel extra psychic when this full moon comes. You might be like, oh my God, or your dream world might be off the hook exciting. I mean, I tend to be a little Pollyanna. I know that, like, you know, another way this could show up is, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really anxious. My Gemini friends. It could be, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I can't calm my nervous system. So if this happens for you, my Gemini friends, my suggestion might be to lie down on the floor, if there's any grass where you live, lie on some grass, lie on the ground, ground the electrical energy. This, like, picture a lightning bolt moving through air. It's pretty fast and explosive. Can you take that and ground it into the earth, ground it into the floor? See if that's helpful. I also personally really love to eat, and I find food very grounding. So with this Gemini energy that's so cerebral and moving so quickly, I mean, a really hearty meal could possibly feel like an antidote to like the energy of this full moon for you. Then we move to my Cancer, beautiful Cancerians. Hello, Cancerians. What amazing beings you are. So we'll go Cancer, my Cancer friends. This full moon is landing in your house of friends and groups and communities. It feels like it would be this, this would be a place for my Cancerian friends to possibly, I don't know, if some sort of I'm going to get together with my friends for this eclipse, and we're going to do some sort of a ritual together. I'm going to honor my Cancerian, my Cancer rising, Cancer sun chart by gathering with like-minded people. We're going to like write down some intentions of things we want to let go on this eclipse. So maybe I'm going to write down, I want to invite myself as I have a lot of Cancer placements. So I want to invite myself to retreat less into my shell. That's my intention for this eclipse. And I'm going to go and be with my groups, communities, friends. We're going to do some sort of a ritual around that. I'm going to allow the lightning bolt of Uranus. I know a lot of astrologers say Uranus and Uranus, but I can't do it. I'm going to allow the lightning bolt of Uranus to lightning and volcano and earthquake away what is no longer serving me. It could also be that some friendships fall away as well with this full moon because they don't serve you anymore. It's possible you have outgrown them and the lightning bolt comes and like, okay, oh, that's over now. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Thank you. Next, thank you. Next. Like, it's really, it could be like that with this full moon for you Cancers. Oh my gosh, I'm making my own self laugh. I'm glad I find you so funny. Now we move to Leo. My Leo sons, my Leo sons and Leo risings. Oh, how I love thee. Leo, I am so excited for you. This full moon is landing in your career and public eye area of your chart. This would be a time when, okay, I'm going along. I've been in this job that's been feeling all right. And then suddenly someone comes and is like, hey, I'd like to offer you a promotion. Would you like to like be in a more prominent role? I'd love to lightning bolt you into more visibility. Or I'm Leo and I'm walking along and I realize, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this job anymore. This happened to me. I was a professional opera singer, and it was like a lightning bolt. Actually, Uranus was sitting on my sun when this happened. So this is the kind of energy, Leos, that you'll be having. And I was an opera singer. And I woke up one day and was like, I do not want to do that anymore. And it was a lightning bolt. That kind of energy is happening for you, Leos, in your career area of your chart. It's an awakening. It's a earthquake. It's a volcano erupting. And that kind of energy is concise and abrupt, and it can be uncomfortable. So I want to honor both. It's both and. It's not either or, it's both and. And I'm excited to see what more is revealed for you, Leo friends. And when we go to the Virgo beings, this will be landing for you. This full moon will be landing in the 9th house of your chart. The 9th house is about, so Virgo rising, Virgo sun. Oh, I suddenly get an epiphany that I want to study something. I want to take a course about how to be the best finger knitter that I could ever imagine. And there's really this thing called finger knitting. So maybe things are not feeling just or in alignment with justice or truth for me. What do I need to do to feel more like maybe I want to connect in with groups that are active around my sense of justice, for example, about LGBTQ rights. I know I left some letters out there. I am aware of that. It can also be, Virgos, that you suddenly actually realize you want to go and travel to Nepal, and you are like, I'm going to make this happen. The eclipse has come. It turned the lights off for a moment. They turned back on. Uranus got involved, and I'm like, oh, I must go to Nepal, like ASAP. It could also be that. I wonder what it feels like to hear me say that, Virgos. And so here we land now with the Libra, beautiful Libra friends. And Libra friends, this eclipse and full moon is, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Hold on. Libra rising, Libra sun. This eclipse is landing in your incredible magical 8th house of magic, the occult, other people's money, sex, death, taxes. It's a mysterious house. I feel like if I am a Libra sun, let me just go whole hog, Libra sun, Libra rising. It can feel uncomfortable perhaps to dive more into 8th house things, because my tendency is to want to make sure everyone else's feelings are cared for. And I might put my feelings on the back burner about that. However, when I'm diving into 8th house subjects, it's really like I've got to get a little self-absorbed. I've got to be curious. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm diving into the shadowy magical realms of my chart, of my psyche. I want to, maybe at this point, I've been entertaining this idea that I want to buy that deck of tarot cards, and now I actually do it. Maybe the goddess awakens me and says, okay, it's time. I've been putting it off. Or maybe it's this, I don't know. I'm like, I know my friends think I'm really magical. I feel a little shy to pull some cards for them, but I'm gonna try this eclipse and full moon, this full moon in Taurus with Uranus next to it. I'm gonna try it. What the hell? I mean, this eclipse is happening in your most magical house, and with the occult involved. If this is the time, this would be the time to do like, I'm gonna do it. That's delicious. So exciting. I mean, I'm hoping some of you Libras get some sort of a surprise inheritance with this eclipse and full moon happening in your 8th house. That would be really exciting. And I would invite you also to simply keep in mind that some feelings that you've possibly never acknowledged or felt before also could bubble up around this eclipse. Because the 8th house for me is a place in my being that is pre-verbal. It's almost my lizard part of my brain that cannot, the feelings are not describable by words. It might be, oh, I'm a Libra with a Libra rising, and I'm having this full moon and the full moon lunar eclipse in my 8th house, and I feel like like a pancake in my left knee. I feel royal blue in my right side. I feel gauzy in my throat. Like, it might be that you describe it in those impressionistic ways, and that is valid. That works. So I'm cheering you on, Libras. I'm cheering you on. My beautiful, gorgeous Scorpio friends, Scorpios and Scorpio risings. Thank you for staying in your bodies. You're so powerful, so amazing. I really enjoy Scorpio energy, and this full moon and this lunar eclipse is happening for you in your 7th house, which is the house of long-term relationships, contractual relationships. If I were really operating like, when I'm operating on more traditional language, it would be your marriage house. If you're not married, it can be long-term relationships. It can be contractual relationships. So it's me having a conversation with someone who's in a position of power with me around finances. So perhaps it's me as I am the person holding the money, and I'm the one that pays you. That's me. That it could be this eclipse and full moon might be lighting me up there, Scorpio friends. It also could be me. I'm working one-on-one with clients, and maybe there's some sort of a shift or change in the way I want to do that. Do I want to change my rate? This would be a time when a Scorpio, like if you're a psychotherapist, Scorpio rules psychotherapy, you're like, I'm going to raise my rates. It's time. You know, with the full moon in Taurus, which is about money, it could bring up that kind of theme for you. I'll be curious to see what is revealed. I also invite you to know that it could illuminate aspects of your long-term partnerships, either about like me as working, I'm paying with money involved, or me romantically that need to shift or change. And there are, if you're listening to this and I have an incredible, magical couples therapist person that I would love to recommend. You can reach out to me and write to me if you're interested in that person's information. And I want to say that on here because it's really hard to find a good couples therapist, and this person is an incredible couples therapist. So I want to say that out loud. So Scorpio friends, Scorpio rising friends, you might find at this time that you're like, oh, I need some help. I need some support. I'm having some lightning bolts. This isn't working. We need to make a shift. The tectonic plates need to rearrange and fall into a new order. So can I have some help with that? I'm cheering you on. You're doing so great, Scorpio friends. Beautiful Sagittarians. This full moon eclipse is taking place in your 6th house. So I would invite you to stay alert around issues of health. If something's bubbling up for you health-wise, this will bring it more to the forefront. I feel like it's going to be when you're walking along my Sagittarius friends, like let's pretend you're walking along in the dark and there's a lightning bolt and the whole landscape is illuminated and you saw things you didn't know were there. That kind of energy could bubble up for you around this full moon eclipse with Uranus involved. So I would invite you to pay attention if you get some information about your health at this time and take some steps perhaps to work on it. I don't know what that looks like for you. It could be, you know, it could be, what is my daily routine? Do I need to get more sleep? Is my Sagittarian ebullient, sparkly life with the starlight energy, am I not able to settle enough to give my body the amount of rest that it needs every night? Am I like, so do I need to create more? Would it help me? Not do I need. No one needs to do anything. No one who's listening to this needs to do anything. You are exactly right, just as you are. And there could be an invitation, Sagittarii, to possibly soften a little more into some sort of a daily routine if you don't already have one. Like I wake up and I brush my teeth and I have some lemon water. I don't do this, but I've heard that it's good for you. So what would it look like, my Sagittarian friends, to dance in that kind of energy? Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna see about creating more of a healthy daily routine. If I have small pets as a Sagittarius, you know, it's possible sometimes animals get sick during eclipses. I feel like they are often taking on the energy, the psychic energy that I'm not able to process. So I would just invite you to stay alert. Like, is my pet acting strangely? This is the 6th house, is the house of small animals. So keep an eye on Felix the cat and like, oh, Felix, you're sneezing a lot. Let's go to the vet. Or let me give you something holistic. You know, I would invite you to stay alert for your small animals during this eclipse, my beautiful Sagittarian friends. And then we go to our Capricorn friends, Capricorn sun, Capricorn rising. Hello. I think you're so cool and amazing and you climb the mountains and I love, and you've all survived Pluto in your sign since like 2008. So I'm cheering you on, amazing work. And now this full moon eclipse conjunct Uranus is happening in your 5th house for you. So I think I'm like excited for you because it's like, oh, the fun house. I'm getting lightning in my fun house and I'm a Capricorn and I really know how to work hard. I know how to scale the mountain. I know how to achieve. And maybe now I'm getting some illumination around the deliciousness of being in a human body with this. It's happening. The full moon is happening in Taurus, which is like, can I delight in the fact that I incarnated in this physical form? What an honor and a privilege to be in a human body where I can actually feel pleasure and enjoy food and like feel my own finger on my skin. Maybe I can pause, Capricorn friends. Maybe there could be a moment of, okay, like electroshock therapy of like, oh, wait, I don't have to be a human doing. I can be a human being. And I can enjoy the fact that I'm an expansive spirit in a human body and have some, like, go play some tennis. Maybe you go to a party and you meet someone that is cute and you're like, I like you. And you get like that fun, exciting flutter of a flirt. Fun, exciting flutter of a flirt, Capricorn friends, with this full moon eclipse conjunct Uranus in Taurus. That's what's coming up for me. I wonder how that lands for you. I hope you can land some of the fun and frolicky feeling. Now we go to my beautiful Aquarians. Goddess bless you, with Saturn having been in your sign for like 50 billion years and Uranus squaring it. So you're doing great, amazing work, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. This full moon in Taurus is happening for you in your 4th house. the fourth house of home. Here we are in the area of your chart, Aquarians, that is around your family of origin, themes of the mother, themes of how you allow yourself to be nurtured and nurture. And this feels like it is an opportunity again to notice, wow, I grew up in this family, my family of origin, which is, and I got some patterning in there and templates that are not serving me anymore. And I'd like to be able to make different choices, yet I still have this nervous system response when, for example, I see a big angry woman coming at me and my body has a visceral response and I freeze. I go into freeze mode. Okay, that's interesting. The Aquarius rising. So I noticed that that's happening. This full moon eclipse might give you yet another jolt and like electric, like I'm going to send electricity through the ground to break it up, pulverize it so that I can work with it a little more. It's a little more flexible. So it's not as stuck. I actually feel like this is an amazing opportunity for Aquarians to break down some patterns and structures that don't work anymore that they learned growing up in their families of origin, and it's not particularly comfortable. So I want to invite you to be really gentle with yourselves, Aquarians. It's an amazing opportunity for growth and expansion, and easy does it. Easy does it. And I also invite you to remember that this too shall pass. It's not, the energy of the full moon, Aquarians, is not going to feel super intense and heavy for all time. That planets are always moving. And maybe there's an affirmation, Aquarians, that you could say, I give thanks for all of the emotions that are constantly flowing to and through me. I give thanks because Aquarius is the least connected to the body. It's like really so genius, which is fabulous. And can I soften back into the body, Aquarians, into Taurus, into the most incarnate energy of the zodiac. My Pisces friends, which is me, Pisces rising. This amazing eclipse is landing for you in your third house, your communication, neighbors, siblings. Oh man, I feel like there could be, for my Pisces friends, what would it be like to possibly embrace writing, like just for that day? Does something want to come out of you that is a piece of writing? What does it feel like to hear me say that? Do you want to write something? Do you want to make a podcast? Do you want to make a recording? And then it could be a recording of you singing, dancing, well, not dancing because it's about communication. Well, no, let's say your communication could come out through the body, Taurus. Yeah. It also can, I wonder, Pisces, if it might also feel a little bit like, oh my gosh, my mind is so busy with Uranus in it. Like Uranus in the third house, Pisces. So it'll be this invitation to connect back into your spirits, connect to your guides, connect to your angels. Pisces, can you get back down into your bodies also? Because Pisces can go, I'm speaking from experience as a Pisces sun, and my Mercury at the same degree as my sun. Like, what do you have to do to get back into your body, Pisces? Because this Uranus in the third house, what is coming up for me is like, oh, my mind's going really fast. There's lightning bolts. I want to flitter this way and that's lovely. And it can feel disconcerting and ungrounding. So what can I do to ground the steam that Pisces feels like to me? Can I ground it back or condense it or put it back into the physical form that is me? I also invite you to if you have siblings, it would be, you're invited to, if you have a relationship with them, reach out and say, hey, thinking of you. And because this full moon conjunct Uranus is also happening around neighbors. I wonder if there's some sort of a neighbor or a shift in your neighborhood that's happening on this full moon. I wonder what, it might be that you move, but it might be that a new neighbor comes in, and it could be a lovely surprise. That sounds nice. Oh my gosh, my beautiful, precious friends. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, my name is Natalie Levin. My website is Natalie Levin Astrology. I am on Facebook as Natalie Levin. I'm on YouTube, Natalie Levin Astrology, and Instagram, Natalie Levin Astrology. I am so thrilled to have the opportunity to do this video for you, and I will be doing the December full moon video as well. And I can't wait to read your comments and hear what comes up for you from what I shared on here. And again, one more gentle invitation to take what you like and leave the rest about what I say. Thank you so much for choosing to incarnate on planet Earth with me. I'm so honored to be with you all, and I hope you take amazing care of your beautiful, precious selves.